My name is Denise Malone. I am the mother of Cadji Malone. I've never spoke about his incident publicly or for that matter at all. So trust this is coming from the heart. On April 6th, the next morning, I get a call about 6:30 that morning. It's my son telling me, trying to express to me what had happened. I couldn't listen to it on the phone. I immediately jumped in my car and went down to him, to his apartment, to his home. When I got there, what I found was my son extremely upset. I found his mental state not well. I found his back bleeding from the taser prongs. I found his back spasming from the electricity from them taser prongs. Although I couldn't convince him to go to the doctors at that time, me as a nurse took care of my son. Me as a nurse had to sit and try to help him navigate mentally what was going on, when mentally I wasn't prepared. I'm still not prepared. As the days progressed, I didn't want to watch the videos, I really didn't, but I had to. I had to see what they had did to my son so unjustly. I had to understand what happened. My boys that night were out celebrating my youngest son's basketball championship from college. That's all they were doing. They were socializing on the commons. When a white man came up to a female within their group, my son saw something that wasn't right. He said something. The white man didn't appreciate it. He pushed my son. He touched him first. My son did what he should have done and knocked him out. During all that, now I have 2 kids and a lot of their friends involved in this mess. As I'm watching these videos, I see the police. I remember your names, I remember your faces. So I'm not gonna sit here and repeat them, you don't deserve it. But what you do deserve, my son deserves justice from you police officers. He really does. It doesn't matter that he was acquitted. It doesn't matter that Rose was acquitted. They're still walking around here like, don't stink. And like they didn't do anything. I sat and watched during that trial how each officer got up on stand and lied, didn't understand their own written statements. I saw how Mr. Van Houten sat there trying to instruct to me an already a female district attorney or assistant DA that wasn't quite sure what she was doing, and to allow that to go on. Matt Van Houten, I read your comments about you're holding the police accountable. You haven't done so yet. You have not. Not one person has been brought to justice. Not one of them officers has been reprimanded. An internal investigation by your white peers. Not good enough. Definitely not good enough. Mayor Savant, you stepped up during this. You did. But you didn't step up enough. Because you allowed these officers not to be punished. They're under your watch, Savant. The police don't understand the domino effect that their actions has on these young men. My son didn't die that day. He still has his life. He's without a shelter. He lost his home. He's without a job. He lost his job during this. He's without a complete mentality that he had prior. If you know my son, you know he's intelligent. You know that he's creative. You know that he dances. You know that he does not harm people. My son was raised with respect. Our last name is Malone, and if you don't know the last name, it's over there by Wegmans. That church over there was built by the hands of my father. So we know in this community that we as a family don't deserve this. Trying to hold my language. Then we fast forward to 6 months later, and my nephew gets killed here in Tompkins County. I'm not saying the police had anything to do with his death, but the police ain't doing the job. I'm not saying that the police, everything that the police did that night was messed up. Why? Because it was a black man again, dead. You took no consideration about what had happened, about a dead corpse. I'm gonna leave that situation alone because it's still ongoing. But for the police here in Ithaca, as a nurse, the number one thing we are taught is to assess our situation. A lot of you police officers don't have education beyond high school. So to go to academy and to get whatever you're being taught, the number one thing I hope you're being taught is to assess your situation. Not to react until you know your situation. I saw how the police handled the white guy. They allowed him because he was in town, because his son was at Cornell trying to, I don't know if he had a wrestling tournament or if he was trying out for the wrestling team. It doesn't matter. What mattered was those cops allowed that drunken white man to walk himself back to his hotel room. On the video, you hear him talking to his wife, telling her that he had a run-in with a young black man. I think his words was, he knocked me out. There's so much wrong with the system right now. I don't know the answers, but what I do know, a mother's anger goes beyond wanting to burn stuff down. A mother's anger goes beyond wanting to hurt these police officers. A lot of these police officers come through my office, and I have to put on a smile and take care of y'all. Why can't you give us the same respect? As we continue on this, my son, I'm not looking for financial wholeness for my son. I'm looking for that mental clarity that he once had. I'm looking for him to go back to trying to do the things that he once was doing. All that, unfortunately, Ithaca Police Department, you took that away. You caused him to be where he is now. And that in itself is not right. Thank you for listening.